Maul Shadow Lord season 1 just finished, and yeah, it's great. Really, really good. I just want to give my raw thoughts on this, my raw review, and just let you know what I think. Really, let me know what you think in the comics comments down below. Oh, good lord, golly gosh. Yeah, well, just little bit about me. Star Wars is something I'm passionate about. So, this series meant a lot to me. Um, I think this is probably the best thing since Andor, really. So, I wanted to gush about it a little bit. Um, Start with the art style. The art style is very interesting. It's got this kind of color palette that makes it, looks very like an old medieval kind of painting, I suppose. I think it works for the most part, apart from episode 9 when Master Daki's sitting on the stairs. Spoilers ahead if I ain't said that already. I can't remember if I did. Um, yeah, it works for the most part. Adds the horror aesthetic as well, but we'll get into that later. And it's very good. Well, I suppose we should get into the actual series itself. So we got more. This is about a year after. I think a year after the Clone Wars, something like that. I'm not too sure. You have to let me know in the comments. Years until past his expiration date. Um, yeah, and he's kind of been thrown away and discarded and not needed anymore. And he's kind of been, the tools turn against the user, so the user wants to discard the tool permanently. And so Maul's quite a big threat because he's been, trained by the Sith traditionally, and he was a Sith himself, so he does pose a threat. So yeah, we see Maul on the planet Janex trying to get his criminal syndicate up. Climb up the ladder and get revenge on the people that betrayed him during the Clone Wars, or by the end of the Clone Wars, I think. He spares one of them to get more information, but then, the law cracks down, and by that, Two Boots, one of the characters within the law, he's a droid, new character. He calls in the Imperials, and for the first time, we kind of see the Imperials take over a planet, and how they dismantle a planet's government and take it over by themselves, and they do it quickly and efficiently and ruthlessly by that standard. And it's quite horrible for the people and everyone that's got to live in that rule now, because Two Boots was too naive to realise what the Empire actually was, what Lawson knew, because his wife works there. Lawson's actually a very interesting character as well, which is quite funny. His name's just Law, and he looks Lawson, and he works in the law. So yeah, I guess I kept that simple. Um, he's got a son he's got to look after, pretty much by himself. He's apart from his wife, because she's part of the Imperials, and I guess he doesn't agree with that. So you got him trying to raise his son and trying to balance police work, and this is something he's struggling with quite a lot. And yeah, it's just quite fascinating to see just a normal human guy trying to trying to stave off Imperial law basically for as long as he can, but it overwhelms him, and then he gets the Jedi get involved with him, and that becomes too late. So yeah, he goes through interesting character development. God, I cannot talk today. I suppose we should move on to the Inquisitors. I think they're probably one of the most interesting parts of the show because they've been quite lackluster in past seasons and comics and games. They're quite good in Jedi Survivor and stuff like that. I will give them their dues there, but apart from that, not really. Not really. A bit bland, a bit villain of the week, especially in Rebels. Um, but yeah, they were horror villains in this. Um, I suppose we should get to the meat of the season. Darth Vader coming in at the end, and he's hunting them down ruthlessly and efficiently. And I think he's got a personal vendetta against Maul because he's killed Qui Gon Jinn, and I think Anakin did quite deeply care for Qui Gon. Has quite a lot of respect for him because he brought him to the Jedi Order and you know showed him this path out of slavery. So I think he's very angry at Maul anyway and wants to kill him anyway. Which is, I was hoping a bit more dialogue between those two would happen, but maybe they're saving that for future seasons. I hope they have another fight, to be honest. So I think it'd be a bit of a waste if they didn't. Yeah, so we see Devon as well. This is the apprentice of Master Daki, who is a Jedi apprentice, but Maul's trying to seduce her to the dark side throughout the season. And I think in season two, she's going to delve deeper into the dark side. I think Riley Lawson, Lawson's son, he's going to maybe like keep her a bit in the light. You know, he's going to be like, what you're doing isn't right, that kind of thing. And she might go back and forth between the light and the dark, and she might have a bit of an imbalance. And there's going to be this struggle, and I think that's going to be quite interesting to see. And obviously, Maul's going to have to take over Crimson Dawn at some point. We don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen next season. It might happen in the season afterwards, though. I feel like I'm rambling a bit now, but yeah, it was a really, really solid season. I feel. Um, yeah, hopefully they keep it up with the Inquisitors. Maybe we see Palpatine again. We saw him in a Visible Maul when he was young. I don't think that's what actually happened. That's what Sam Witwer said in a recent interview on YouTube, which is really interesting to think because I think Maul's, psyche's still shattered from the boo a little bit. He wasn't completely healed by the by Mother Talzin completely. So I think he's going to descend further into madness and gain more power as he goes on. And I think that's going to be quite interesting. I'm quite interested in his dynamic. I can't say the word. His apprenticeship with Devon essentially. What's going to happen there with them? 9 out of 10. I don't like doing the points. So yeah, if I had to, I don't think it was quite 10 out of 10. There was some like rough bits here and there. For the most part, it was great though. Like even with the Dathomirian brothers, the Zabrat brothers. I think they're Zabrats. Yeah, the Zabrat brothers, because he obviously recruited them because they remind him of him and Savage, and they both die, and the droid dies, which was unfortunate. I liked Maul's little droid running around like screaming at people, like being a menace, like Chopper and Rebels essentially. But yeah, that's kind of my whole review of Maul Shadow Lord season one. Uh, you want to see more, I'll be talking about other shows and stuff in the future, and obviously more Star Wars as well. Like I said, it's something I'm quite passionate about. Um, as trying as that may be sometimes, good God. Um, but yeah, we'll see where we'll see where it goes from here. My theory will drop in quality, kind of like Mando season three after two, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Animation side has been quite solid with the storytelling. I think they can, Star Wars can learn a lot from the animation side. And hopefully they do that in the future. But anyway, this has been the More Shadow Lord season one video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one, I suppose. See ya.